Prophet David, the brave singer. David's happy childhood. A long, long time ago in a sunny land called Canaan, there lived a boy named David, who had a heart full of love for God. David was the youngest of many brothers, with curly hair and a smile that sparkled like the morning dew. His family were shepherds, watching fluffy sheep on green hills dotted with wild flowers. David loved running through the fields, playing his little harp, and singing songs that made the birds chirp along. His voice was so sweet that even the sheep seemed to listen, baa-ing happily. David's dad, Jesse, taught him to be brave and kind. "Always trust God," Jesse said, "and he'll guide you." David helped his brothers tend the sheep, learning to use a sling, a small strap that shot stones, to scare away wolves. He'd practice by the river, aiming at rocks, and, zip, he never missed. David prayed every day, thanking God for the sunny hills, his family, and the twinkling stars at night. Little did he know, God had big plans for him. Trouble with a giant. In those days, the Israelites, David's people, were in trouble. A mean army called the Philistines wanted to take their land. The Philistines had a giant warrior named Goliath, as tall as a tree, with armor that clanked like pots and a spear bigger than a shepherd's staff. Goliath shouted, "Send someone to fight me. If you win, we'll leave, but if I win, you'll obey us." The Israelites, led by King Saul, were scared. Nobody wanted to face that giant. David's brothers were in Saul's army, camping on a dusty hill. One day, Jesse said, "David, take bread and cheese to your brothers." David ran to the camp, his sling tucked in his belt. When he arrived, he heard Goliath's loud boasts and saw the Israelites shaking. David asked, "Why's everyone so scared?" "God's with us." His brothers grumbled, "Go home, David. You're too young." But David said, "God helped me chase wolves. He can help us now." King Saul heard about David and called him over. "You're just a boy," Saul said. "Goliath's huge." David replied, "God saved me from a lion and a bear when I protected my sheep. He'll save me from Goliath." Saul was amazed at David's courage. He gave David his heavy armor, but it was too big. David said, "I don't need this. God's my shield." He grabbed his sling, picked 5 smooth stones from the river, and marched to face Goliath. David's brave fight. Goliath towered over the field, laughing at David. "You're just a kid with a stick," he roared. David stood tall, his eyes shining. "You fight with a sword, but I fight with God's power," he shouted. He spun his sling, wah, 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 and flung a stone. Zip! The stone hit Goliath right on the forehead, and the giant fell with a big T-hood, like a tree in a storm. The Philistines gasped and ran away, and the Israelites cheered, "David won. God's the best." King Saul made David a hero in his army, and the people loved him, singing, "David beat the giant." David stayed humble, saying, "God did it, not me." God loved David's pure heart and chose him to be a prophet and the next king. God gave David a special gift, the Zabur, a holy book of songs that praised God's greatness. David sang these songs with his harp, and his voice was so beautiful that even the mountains seemed to hum along. David's amazing gifts. As a prophet, David ruled the Israelites with kindness and wisdom. God gave him special powers no one else had. One day, while David played his harp in the hills, the birds fluttered down, chirping to his tune. "Hello, friends," David said, surprised. God had taught him to understand animals. The birds sang, "We love your songs for God." Even the ants marched in neat rows, whispering, "David's music makes us happy." David laughed, thanking God for such a fun gift. God also made David super smart with iron. He could shape it into strong armor and tools, like a blacksmith with magic hands. David taught his people to make shields that sparkled in the sun, keeping them safe. He'd sing, "God's stronger than any metal." His songs from the Zabur filled the people's hearts with joy, reminding them to pray, be kind, and trust God. Even when some people, tricked by Satan, got jealous of David, he stayed patient, saying, "God sees everything." David's wise lesson. One day, God tested David to make him even wiser. Two men came to his court, arguing. "This sheep is mine," one said. "No, it's mine," said the other. David listened carefully, but God sent two angels disguised as men to tell a story. They said, "A rich man with many sheep took a poor man's only lamb." David was upset. "That's not fair. The rich man must give back the lamb." The angels smiled. "David, you judged wisely, but always check your heart to stay fair." David prayed, "God, help me be just." From then on, he made sure to listen to everyone, rich or poor. David ruled for many years, teaching the Israelites to love God and be fair. He built a strong kingdom, and his songs from the Zabur echoed through the hills. When he grew old, he chose his son Solomon to be king next, saying, "Follow God's path, my son." David's story teaches kids to be brave like he was with Goliath, trust God like he did with his songs, and stay humble no matter how great you become. Satan tried to make people jealous, but David's love for God made him a hero.